about the expectations the Board of Examiners for Registered Professional Nurses has for students. The day you enroll in your first nursing course, you are held to the standards as we who are licensed. So there are certain things that you need to know because you need to be aware of your actions and what you may do and what can happen if you make some unwise choices. So I have been asked to do this, to give this to you. I was a member of the West Virginia Board of Nursing for 10 years and president for 6. The series that I'm going to talk to you about, Series 3 today, we wrote while I was on the Board of Nursing, so I'm pretty familiar with it. I've also sat through disciplinary cases, and I know the intent of the rule. So that is the reason I've been asked to talk to you. Everyone needs to be familiar with this. The website to come to the legislative code and rules is you just type in your Google West Virginia RN Board, pull it up, and on the left-hand side you're going to see some different tabs, and there's one about law and scope. And that's what you need to do. So I'm going to talk to you at first like I would my children. What you do now and in the future impacts the rest of your life. The choices you make now and in the future impact the rest of your life. This includes friends, places you go, things you do. You may think, well, I'm not going to get caught, or no one's going to see me. Trust me, just like your mommy will tell you, you will be found out. Somehow mothers know, and somehow the Board of Nursing knows. So you have to be aware of this. There are certain things that we're going to talk about you may not understand would be a problem with the Board of Nursing. The Board of Nursing is the licensing regulator who issues your license once you complete the program. You have to apply for a licensure every year. You must submit an application to renew your license, fulfill the continuing education requirements, and right now it's 12 continuing education units a year, with 2 of those continuing education units being in the care of veterans. Now, they have changed the requirements over the years. At one point, there was some opioid continuing education or medication administration, different things. So you have to be aware of what you must have. You cannot apply for your license until you meet all of your continuing education requirements. Do you know why you should not, you cannot apply for licensure without completion of your continuing education? Can anybody tell me why? That would be falsification of an application. You would be putting on the application that you have, by applying, you're completing that, and you're saying that you have fulfilled your 12 credit hours, or 12 continuing education hours. The board will come back, and if they do an audit, they will take your application for your license renewal. You have to document your 12 credit hour, your 12 contact hours, and then they will put the 2 together. And that, my friends, is a case for discipline. You can be suspended, you can lose your license for falsification of an application. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. So, I mean, something, you might think, well, that's nothing. Well, it is. One of the clauses that I believe is still here, it says the individual must be of good moral character. So what's good moral character? Vague, isn't it? That's what they want. They want vagueness. So you just have to remember what you do can impact your future. So let me start with the Title III, which is the professional standards for licensure and conduct constituting professional misconduct by the board. And this went into effect May 2nd, 2017, so it has been updated. It starts off and it gives you some definitions as you go through. So you can read those when you go into this and look at it. Tells you exactly what everything is. Talks about the licensing exam. So first, qualifications for an application for licensure. And this is where you all will be once you start to apply for licensure for a nursing license. So here it says you have to have completed high school, you have to have a high school diploma or an equivalency study. That's the reason we ask you for a copy of your high school diploma, GED, tax scores, or other documents. Because without that, the Board of Nursing will not allow you to set for licensure. You have to have be a good moral character. There it is. It's right there. 3.1A2. Be a good moral character. Have completed a nursing program. Submit a criminal background check for the purpose of determining whether you have been charged with, indicted, or convicted of a crime that may have bearing upon the applicant's fitness to hold a license. Previously, if you had 6 or more parking tickets, and I'm talking about tickets where you go put money in those parking tickets, you could be disciplined by the Board of Nursing. Speeding tickets is a misdemeanor. Individuals with a excessive number, excessive defined by the board, may be up for discipline. Now that one used to scare me because I used to like to drive a little fast. One night I was going to penny ceremony and I was driving a little bit fast because I was late. I was a lot younger then. And the nice fellow, he pulled me over and I started crying and he let me go. Wouldn't happen anymore, I'm sure. Can't cry over these anymore. So, you know, those are some minor things that you think, okay, I get a speeding ticket, big deal. It is a big deal. So I have dramatically cut back, and I normally do the speed limit at 65. Normally do the speed limit at 65 miles an hour. So those are things you need to remember. So they will get your criminal background check, and that will then be submitted, and then the board will determine if you are eligible to sit for licensure. So let's see, where are we? Okay. So it's your responsibility to pay for all of the fees when you get there, so we will just go on through that. The board may deny, the board may deny licensure or certification to any applicant who fails or refuses to submit a criminal history records checks required by this selection. So there's certain things that if you choose to not provide to them, then they will keep you from sitting for licensure. And we do a criminal background check upon admission. We use Castle Branch. You all have done your Castle Branch. It's in the system. If you have a felony or misdemeanor conviction, number one, right now at the University of Charleston, if you have a felony conviction, you cannot be enrolled in NC classes. You can only be enrolled in online classes. We're hoping to change that. But if you have a misdemeanor, you need to start compiling your court documents, because you need all court documents to come to my office and Professor Bruce's office, and then you will need to submit another set of those court documents to the Board of Nursing once you matriculate and graduate. So get ready now for that. The university's working on some policies for background checks, and the School of Health Sciences, which I am the dean, we're working on some consistent policies of criminal background checks and drug screens. Currently, we do the criminal background check one time. Just so you know, we're talking about possibly more than once throughout the program. And we only require the drug screen one time. And we will more than likely be implementing a random drug policy here in the near future. So you will be asked to have a random drug screen at any time. And the random drug screens will no longer be like you've been used to doing. You being notified that you go down to LabCorp and get your drug screen. It will be an in-house that day. Because I implemented the first drug screening test in the state of West Virginia back many, many years ago. Even then, I know that there were things that you could take that will mask the drug screen. So if you have 24 hours to go get a drug screen, there, if someone would want to try to falsify it, I know they can. So that, that's going to be coming up in the future. And that includes alcohol. Alcohol is a drug. It's a legal drug, but alcohol is a drug. So it includes alcohol, it will include any drugs, unless you're prescribed. ADHD medication, you have a prescription for it, fine. Medical cannabis, we have to look at the laws and see where they are in West Virginia. We're working toward that. If that passes, then if you would have a prescription for medical cannabis, then we would have to determine that as well. But those are some things going forward. Faculty haven't even heard this yet, but this will be a policy for all of health sciences. The board will look at your complete criminal history, whether they will allow you to have a license. And I can tell you I've dealt with several students over the years who have had background checks. I had some things in their past. Even had one student in the past who had a presidential pardon. And so when you're pardoned, that means that everything goes away, right? Not according to the Board of Nursing. It took her 2 years before the board would allow her to set for licensure because they were doing an extensive background check. And hers was not drugs. Hers was not shoplifting. Hers was, she stole some money because she had 3 children and no means to feed them. And does that make it right or wrong? That's for you to decide. I can't say what I would do in that situation. I probably would not steal, but she did. And she made such a compelling case. President Jimmy Carter gave her a presidential pardon. But it took her 2 years to be able to set the licensure. So I just want to give you some examples of what I'm talking about. Let's see. Go on down. See where we're at with this. So, let's see where we're at here. Let's go down and see what are the things that could happen and things that you have to be aware of as you are moving through. When something happens while you're in a nursing program, it has to be reported to the Board of Nursing. And this includes any academic integrity issue. If you are found to have violated any academic integrity issues at a college or university, including cheating, using someone's work as your own, all of the whole list that the faculty go over with you, that has to be reported to the Board of Nursing at the time that it happens. And then the board will not do anything with that until you apply for licensure. And then they will determine if you are of a good moral character and can set for licensure. So let me go on down and talk about all of the things that the board look at when reviewing your application for licensure. Okay, what constitutes professional misconduct? And here's a list. It's on page 11. You can get it there. And the bottom of 11, top of 12. If you fail to adhere to common and current standards for professional nursing practice, including but not limited to standards established by national professional nursing organizations, nursing research, nursing education, or the board. You fail to adhere to established standards in the practice setting to safeguard patient care. You walk off and don't provide care of your patients, that's patient abandonment. And that is not, that is personnel and ensuring the safety of the patients. Many times you'll come to the end of your shift and you won't be able to leave at 7 o'clock. Your replacement may be there, but your replacement may not be able to come into the room with your critically ill patient. So if you would say, okay, I work 7 to 7, it's 7:01, I'm out of here. That's abandonment of patients. So you cannot do that. If you practice beyond your scope, this is huge. Because I have been in situations, I was an ER nurse, and I've seen, things happen in the ER that should never have happened. I can remember one time a physician looked at one of the nurses, and she was not an advanced practice nurse, and he said, do you want to suture this patient for me? And she said, oh yeah, I'll do it. Well, what's wrong with that? It's on her scope. She is not licensed to suture. Back here that have advanced practice are licensed to suture, but she was not. So she was working outside her scope of practice. So you have to know, what is your scope? What is your role? You also have to know what is your role when you are delegating to someone. And you cannot delegate all of your tasks to an LPN. You cannot delegate your tasks to a certified nursing assistant. There are just certain things that you can delegate. And there are only certain people that you can delegate to. You cannot oversee a medical assistant. Did you know that? You can oversee an LPN or a CNA, but not a medical assistant. So you need to just be aware of what's in the law and the code. If you impersonate another licensed practitioner, and you can say, well, that's not what happened. Well, it just happened here about 6 months ago. A nurse was working in a facility, worked for 3 months as a registered professional nurse, and she did not have a nursing license. I ended up in nursing education because of that same instance in 1987. Nurse came from California, went to work at the school where I previously had been. They found out, and she worked a year. She told everybody she had a PhD in nursing, don't know what happened, was not there. Found out a year later she didn't even have an associate degree in nursing. So once they found out, they terminated her, and that's how I ended up in higher education. If you permit someone to use your license, you cannot permit anyone to use your license or your license number. If you permit an unlicensed, uncertified, or unregistered person to perform activities that a licensed, certificate, or registration person would be required to do. Such as if you would let a CNA start an IV. Now, that sounds like, sounds way out there. Trust me, those things have happened. Delegating professional responsibilities to a person when the licensing okay, my phone. Did not get my phone on here. It's in my office. Very sorry. When you delegate to someone else knowing that they can't do those responsibilities. If you practice registered professional nursing while your license is suspended, lapsed, or inactive. If you do not renew your license by October 31st, if these folks up here and if I'm not licensed at 12:01 a.m. on November 1st, I cannot work. I cannot come to the university and work because my license is part of my contract for employment here. In the hospital, you cannot go to work. So please don't forget to renew your license when it gets to that point. If you do, it's about $1,000. So 6 hours could cost you about $1,000. So just be really up on it, and probably I try to get everybody to renew at least by mid-October at the latest. Okay, you may be brought up for misconduct or to the board if you do not provide safe and effective care, if you are impaired by drugs or alcohol, and if you are addicted to a controlled substance. And we know that we have an opioid crisis. One of the things that the Board of Nursing has implemented is a restore program for nurses who may be impaired. And if you self-report to the board, then you can be eligible for the Restore program. And hopefully we'll get someone in here to talk to you about Restore. And that's helping a lot of nurses recover and go back into the workforce. It's been in place for about 5 years now, I think. If you're a chronic or persistent alcoholic, if you engage in dishonorable, unethical, or unprofessional conduct of character likely to deceive, defraud, or harm the public, or any member of the public, thus not exercising good professional character. Again, it's judgment call. It would be up to what that board at that time would read this to be. If you refuse to report for a physical or mental examination, including and not limited to laboratory tests or other tests as required by the board. You provide false or incorrect information to an employer or potential employer regarding the status of a license, or you fail to inform an employer or a potential employer of a change in the status of license. So if you fail to, if you say your license is going to be suspended, and you go back to work, and you forget to tell, or you don't tell your employer that your license is suspended, then you will be up for further action by the board. Had a student one time during an accreditation visit, I don't know why the student did this, told the visitors, and one was from the Board of Nursing, students said they had a master's degree. And so, yeah, we have students with master's degrees that come back to nursing, because sometimes they can't get a job in their field, or sometimes they want to be a nurse. But when they questioned me after meeting with students, first question was, you didn't list that you had a student in your program who had a master's degree. I said, I don't. And they said, well, yes, you do. So-and-so was in the meeting, has a master's degree, 2 bachelor's degrees, and certifications. I said, I don't think so. And so after the board left and the creditors left, brought the student in and asked why the student had lied. And it wasn't a fib, it was a lie to the Board of Nursing. And he started with, I had 2 master's degrees. Well, then it went back down, he had 2 bachelor's degrees. Then he had an associate degree, is what he said. And finally, he had a CPR certification, and that's what he said. Now, he's in the nursing program, that's fine. But he lied to the Board of Nursing. That is the reason that is in this. Because you don't lie. You don't lie to an employer, you don't lie to a school, you don't falsify any application. If you have an application that says, have you ever had any academic discipline at the current or another college or university, and you write no, and you have, that's a falsification of an application. If you knowingly falsified an application for employment, provide false information regarding completion of an education program, falsified patient records intentionally and charted incorrectly. You will not believe how many nurses will go and chart blood pressures when they don't do them. You don't do that. You are here to take care of your patients. Falsifying any type of information is a reportable offense to the board, and you can lose your license. Knowingly and negligently fail to file a report or record required by state or federal law. This even includes child support payments, tax liens, and those types of things. I mean, this is getting really deep. This is what the intent is. If you impeded or obstructed the filing of a report, if you induced another person to file a false report, you failed to report to the board within 30 days knowledge of a violation by a registered professional nurse, then you are in violation. So what that means is if I'm working on a floor, Professor Bruce goes in and she just writes down a random number of blood pressures in her patient records, and I know that she didn't take the blood pressures, then if I do not report that, not only can Professor Bruce be sanctioned and So if something happens while you're a student here, we have to report it by law as nurses to the Board of Nursing. I like this one. If you fail to accept certified mail from the Board of Nursing, Board of Nursing used to send send certified letters. And folks thought, well, if we didn't pick it up and we didn't get it, then we didn't receive anything, so we're not going to have any sanctions against our license. So now it's in the state code that you have to pick up your certified mail. So if you were convicted of a misdemeanor with substantial relationship to the practice of registered professional nursing in a court or competent jurisdiction. So a misdemeanor. What is a misdemeanor? Shoplifting. You're 18, you go back to your girlfriends to Walmart, and you all start saying, let's see what we get out of your lip. Let's see if we can put this lipstick in our pocket or this nail polish. You get caught. It's misdemeanor. It's reportable to the board. If you fail to disclose information when required concerning any treatments or counseling for substance abuse, participation in any professional peer assistance program, you provide false information on any application or any document, misappropriated medication, supplies, or personal items of a patient or employer. Did you know that nurses have been reported for going home with tape and needles, syringes in their pockets? You know, one of the first things I used to do when I was working the ER, I'd go in and I would fill my pockets full of alcohol preps and everything. But at the end of the shift, the first thing I did was empty my pockets before I left. And nurses have been reported for that, and it's now in this rule. And that's something to think about, because how many of us have gone home with an EPM from a hospital or some 4x4s or something? So it makes you want to think after that. If you prescribe, dispense, administer, mixed, or otherwise prepared a prescription drug, including any controlled substance under state or federal law, not in accordance with accepted nursing practice standards, you can be disciplined. You physically or verbally abuse anyone, you can be disciplined. Engage a patient or a client in sexual activity, or become romantically involved with a patient or client while still responsible for the care of that patient or client. And I can tell you, I was on the board, this was probably one of the most contentious cases that I ever had to set through. A nurse reported her fellow colleague, that this nurse was having a romantic relationship with the patient. Well, when we brought the person in, and they had taken her license, and so she came in to tell us what happened. She was single, she was single, the patient was single. When the nurse was taking the patient out to the car for discharge, he asked for her phone number, and she gave it to him. So then the other nurse reported her for inappropriate sexual contact or contact with the patient. Well, the board was going to continue suspension of her license, which first off, I'm from Logan, I'm from Chapmanville. And I looked at the board, and at that point, they really, I probably didn't have as much clout as the other person on the board. I said, if you're going to sanction people, you're going to be sanctioning most of the nurses in Logan Regional Hospital, because it's Southern West Virginia. And everybody knows somebody, and that's the hospital they come to. And so it still was going back and forth, and so Dr. Barbara Stevens, who was then the director of St. Mary's Nursing Program, Dr. Stevens was probably in her 70s. And she never said anything. Everything she said was in a quiet tone and a soft, refined voice. But she put her hands down and she said, well, then you need to take my license. And they stood back and they gasped and they said, well, what are you talking about? She said, when my husband was, many years ago, I met my husband while he was a patient at St. Mary's Hospital, and I was in the program. She said he had a fractured femur. That's when you had patients in the hospital for 3 months. She said we developed a friendship, and when he came Allen Hospital, we started dating, and we subsequently married. So if you take this person's license, you're going to have to take my license as well. Well, they thought twice after Dr. Stevens gave her little scenario. But those are some things that can happen, so you need to be aware of that. You violated confidentiality of information or knowledge concerning the patient. One of the hardest things I ever had to do when I was working in the hospital, I would go home at night. My mother would call me that night or next morning. Well, who came to the hospital that night? Well, who's in the hospital after 4? I can't tell you that. Well, why can't you tell me that? And she would get so mad at me. Well, because I cannot tell her who was in the hospital. And so that's basic, that those are things you cannot do. So it goes on about telecommunications and practicing telecommunications, if you're found guilty of improper professional practice, not only in nursing, but in other disciplines as well. And then it talks about what happens upon probable cause. The board may require a license or a person applying for a license to practice with a sanctions on their license. They may suspend or revoke their license. There's a whole gamut of things that can happen. So I think every one of you needs to read this. This needs to be reinforced in each of the courses every semester with you, because it tells you exactly what you can and cannot do. And I could sit here and read forever, because it goes on for about 16 pages. So do you have any questions about professional misconduct and your responsibility as a nursing student? So if there's something that we need to know that you have not disclosed to us, something that may not have shown up on Castle Branch that we need to know, please make an appointment with Professor Bruce, and then we will review the situation. And if there's any court documents you need to bring us, please bring them to us. Okay? Questions? Okay, you're all good. Thank you.
Now I want to bring Melissa Lane to the podium. Professor Lane is going to go over some, next on the agenda you'll see some nursing student handbook policy and procedures that we want to go over. We are not going to read the entire handbook to you, so you can breathe a sigh of relief, but we are encouraging you to read it front to back in your spare time, because you have so much spare time now that you're in nursing school. But we do want to highlight some parts of it today for you.
Does anyone know why I'm wearing sunglasses? Because your future is so bright. Yes. Why? Why is your future so bright? You have a lot to live up to, right? 100% passage rate, right? You have a lot of good things going for you. So we have wonderful faculty here. And one of the reasons why our program and your future is so bright, our program has been so successful, is because of the policies that we have in place. And there are some things that we do in nursing programs that you think, what in the world, why in the world, or in courses, you think, what am I doing this for? Why am I here until midnight doing med cards, or why is she making me, or why is he making me do this? And it's because we have had success and it works. So eventually you'll understand. Okay, enough of the silliness. I'm going to start with, let's see, well, where you can find the handbook. How was your summer? I'm glad to see everyone here. Tell you a little bit about myself. No, it's cool. It's all good. I have been a nurse for 20 years. I know, it's pretty sick thinking about it. When I first started here, it was 10 years. And so I've been here for 10 years, you can do the math. I graduated from the West Virginia University at Parkersburg. I wore a cap. And one day, it fell in the toilet at the nursing home while I was doing clinicals. And we were paired up because, you know, when you go to the nursing home, and Professor Strada is going to take you there, those sophomores. So if something falls in the toilet, don't go get it. Go see Professor Strada. I was going to go put my cap back on my head because I had a really strict Army nurse as my professor. And luckily, my fellow compadre, my fellow student, she said, no, you can't do that. Don't do that. Knock me out of it. So I do have my cap in my office, but it's not the cap that fell in the toilet. So if you see that in my office, it's not that. It's all good. I am going to go ahead and start. So you're good. You're good. So nursing student roles and responsibilities. One of your responsibilities is to read the handbook, and you need to read it. There are a lot of pieces that are critical to your roles here as a student nurse. One is attendance. We want you to show up for class. If you will find that it benefits you to show up for class. If you don't show up for class, more than likely you'll miss a quiz, you'll miss a test, and you could fail. I had a student a long time ago that she missed. She came to me and she said, it was Labor Day, because we have class on Monday, Labor Day. You should be there, okay? I'm just going to warn you. I had a quiz that day, and she missed it. She went to the WVU Marshall game when they used to play each other, and she came to me at the end of the semester and she goes, hey, can you give me some attendance points to make that B and A? And I said, no. First of all, I can't retroactively change your grade, first of all. Second of all, you know what? If you would have shown up that day, the game was on Saturday, but if you would have shown up on Monday, you probably would have gotten those 5 points. Would have gotten you there. So show up for class. I have to brag on my last senior class. No one missed a day. And it's been going on for a couple of years. So seniors, raise your hands. Guess what? Don't break the streak. Okay. Okay, attendance. I think it's on page, oh, I gotta put my reading glasses on. Sorry, 32. In the university handbook, the academic catalog, there are excused absences. So there's a description of what is excused and what is not excused. We will ask for a doctor's excuse if you do miss. If we need to ask for that, we will. This should be a formal written excuse. We know if it's not correct, and we have had students that have tried that and attempted that. It is we'll go into clinical and lab simulation. Cool. It is the student's responsibility to be aware of and follow the guidance of the lab and clinical objectives, and your instructor will go over this further with you in class. If the absence is excused, then the student must make arrangements with the faculty member to make up the clinical rotation. Also, this is very important, the last paragraph there, first sentence. If the student, no, I'm sorry. Go down a little bit. Okay. Students who miss more than 2 clinical lab simulation rotations will receive a grade of an F for the course. You don't want to do that. Professional dress. The approved uniform consists of the University of Charleston uniform, approved scrubs. Most of you guys know what that is. If you have any questions, you can ask some of your upperclassmen about what the uniform should look like. Leather or simulated leather, clinical black tennis shoes. Now, before everybody starts going nuts, we've said that we'll require this in January. This is a new rule. Correct? January. Juniors and seniors. Okay. Sophomores need it. Sophomores, you will need to go get black shoes. Juniors and seniors. Okay. University of Charleston logo patch on the left sleeve. Student photo ID. You'll need your uniform. Warming jacket is optional. And a white lab coat. Students also must have watch with a second hand, bandage, scissors, stethoscope. This says goggles and CPR airway. You can ask your clinical instructor about that, whether they require that. The uniform is to be worn only in the hospital and for specific clinical settings. And also your clinical instructor will be going over this. You should not be wearing your uniform to O'Charlie's. You should not be wearing your uniform to CVS. You shouldn't be wearing your uniform other than at the hospital and here. Okay? Now, there's a little caveat to that, and I talked with some of the other instructors about this. When I work, and I do work still in the hospital, when I am bathing a patient, and maybe my patient had C. diff. We all know what C. diff is, or most of us do. Or if I had a patient that had MRSA, hepatitis A, was sick all day. And I was gowned up all day, but I will tell you this, I'm going home and changing immediately. My shoes are not going in the house. Everything is going in the laundry. I am not wearing anything anywhere until I get changed. This is a big, huge infection risk. So, if you are at the hospital, this is my suggestion, bring a change of clothes and put them in your car. If you are coming back here for an extended lab or a lecture or maybe another core class, if you've taken care of a patient with C. diff, I would suggest changing your clothes. Okay? We used to have a rule here where you didn't wear scrubs on campus. That came from a dean that used to, Dr. Bowles, who used to be the dean of our nursing program. And since then, we've had a lot of other health science programs that have come through. You see pharmacy school, and they're wearing their scrubs, and you see PA, they're wearing their scrubs on campus. So, as nurses, we know sometimes you don't come in contact with infectious diseases or highly contagious infections, so you really should consider keeping a change of